As we get further into 2017, a lot of information has been spilling about Assassin's Creed 2017, like the game's actual name being Assassin's Creed Origins, as Empire was just the codename for this upcoming game. Either way, in the last few weeks, a ton of information has been leaked, and that's why today we're going to be going over 5 new things that you must know about Assassin's Creed Origins. Starting off at the 5 spot is our first look at this next Assassin's Creed title. Many have assumed that this image that leaked recently was the first image from this game, but it's actually not, as this other older image has now been confirmed to be the real deal. It's also said that these leaks that have been coming out are on purpose, and that Ubisoft is cleverly using these quote-unquote leaks to build hype. But the most recent leaked image showed our new bow-wielding assassin within the ancient Egypt setting, sailing on his boat to a destination of assassinating the crocodile, which could mean our characters hunting a crocodile for resources, or crocodile is simply a codename for actually a person. Other than that, not much else can be seen other than the beautiful big open world. Now, the other older image that I talked about in my most recent Assassin's Creed video does appear to be the same assassin, as they feature the usual hidden blade, hood folded down, weapons and shield on their back as they approach some type of pyramid. Lastly, Ubisoft themselves posted the official logo for Assassin's Creed Origins, along with the quote, "A new era begins." Now to the 4th spot, we have the boatload of gameplay details that have been leaked. WWG reports that Assassin's Creed Origins will be the biggest open world Assassin's Creed game to date, and will feature both a female and male protagonist within ancient Egypt. Assassin's Creed Origins has been compared to Skyrim, as the game will have a bigger emphasis on exploration and will have a less linear storyline with character progression. Naval travel will return, as players will be able to go across the Mediterranean Sea and travel as far to ancient Greece, which honestly sounds fascinating to me. But next up is a very detailed but questionable leak that came from 4chan, which is also where the first details leaked months ago. What's said is the following: there will not be any naval combat, it really is just sailing on a boat for travel purposes. It's like in The Witcher 3, just a bit more customizable. The developers have focused on the story 100%, there is no multiplayer whatsoever, however there are microtransactions like in Black Flag and Rogue. Multiplayer may return in the future. The characters all speak English like in Unity. This is because of the Animus 5.0, which has perfected any translation issues of the older versions. You'll be sitting in it, not moving around like in the movie. There is a new scouting mechanic, the Eagle. The Eagle's placeholder name for now is Acom, I think. There are no towers in the game. You'll be using your Eagle for side activities and points of interest. There's a limit to how far you can go away from your protagonist with the Eagle. Combat has been reworked. Enemies have different attack patterns and will actively try to flank you, kinda like The Witcher 3 but easier to get into. Stealth is much more integrated into the world. You can hide on corners, in crowds, in buildings, and in bushes/haystacks. Imagine Syndicate and Unity's stealth, but much more well thought out and implemented. Social stealth is emphasized a lot in the game. You'll be blending into crowds and with groups of slaves an awful lot. The hidden blade used in the game is a very early version, requires losing a finger. There's also a bow, a shield, various swords, spears, and throwing knives. Skills are done in a talent tree. However, the differences between the skill trees are drastically different, and you can only ever have a certain amount of skills active at one point. One tree is combat, another stealth, and the final one is movement. And outfit wise, there's a few predetermined outfits, as with every Assassin's Creed game. However, there are different pieces of equipment that you can buy that will go over the top of your base appearance. Imagine Unity's equipment, variation customization, but with less pointless fluff. And lastly, character customization is more like Unity than Syndicate. From all this, it sounds like this could be coming from a Ubisoft developer's point of view, and all the information given sounds amazing, but I do have to remain skeptical at least about some of this. But for a while now, going back to the leaks from months ago, reports have been saying that this next Assassin's Creed Origins would be going for a Witcher feel, so hearing about many of the similarities with The Witcher 3 and Skyrim would make sense, and probably would be a smart decision for Ubisoft to pursue to get the interest back into this franchise. Next to the 3 spot is the open world. Again, as I've mentioned, this is said to be the biggest Assassin's Creed game yet, as we'll be able to travel across the Mediterranean Sea and go as far as ancient Greece. Exploration seems to be one of the biggest changes, as Ubisoft has shifted their attention to improving the immersion aspect within this whole experience. Going back to that 4chan leak that we just discussed, the potential Ubisoft developer highlighted there will be plenty of tropical areas, and later adds mirages, oasis areas, and various islands will be dotted around the sea and are beautiful. So from all this, including the recent leaked image, I'm intrigued and excited about exploring the world of Assassin's Creed Origins. But my biggest hope is that with having a huge open world, there are a lot of cities and places to visit and venture through, which I feel could truly make this next game that more interesting and grand for us consumers. But moving right along to the 2 spot is probably one of the most important parts of any Assassin's Creed game, the story. From the recent leaked image, there was actually a small section of words that said, "Follow Shadia to Canut's village," which in real history, Canut was queen of Egypt and wife to King Pharaoh Unas, and lived during the 5th dynasty of Egypt, which could be when Assassin's Creed Origins is set. Previously, it has been said that this game will take place before the Templars and Assassins past existed, which may mean this is an origin story for both possibly. Again, going back to the recent 4chan leak, it was said the following regarding the story. We have a new modern day protagonist, he's male and mixed race, already a trained assassin, has a new team that helps him achieve his task, given by William himself. William, Rebecca, Sean all make appearances. The modern day is more like Assassin's Creed 3's modern day, with bigger areas and more character interaction. The modern day does more to highlight the fact that assassins and Templars still exist and are having a big impact on the world. The main protagonist in the past is a quieter version of Altair basically. It looks like him, only slightly darker, and there is a trilogy planned with him, and Greece is said to be the next setting for the next Assassin's Creed game. But our main protagonist in the past doesn't have a name at the beginning. Later, other characters start calling him Shed, after the deity that represents salvation. A big part of the story revolves around saving your people from slavery. Without giving too much away, a piece of Eden is used during the Exodus and the crossing of the Red Sea, playing into the whole overarching mission of the modern day protagonist, but it is not the main focus of the story. But I have to admit, the modern day story has never interested me as much as the one in the past. The last time I was remotely interested was when Desmond was, well, you know, alive, so hopefully Ubisoft can find a way to draw the interest with the modern day character. But if all of this is true, I really think Ubisoft is making the right moves, and this really could be the Assassin's Creed game a lot of us have wanted for years. But down to the final one spot we have is the official reveal and release date. It's now being said by the recent report by WWG that Ubisoft will unveil Assassin's Creed Origins at E3 2017, which they have been hyping up on their social media platforms. It's also said that Ubisoft will launch Assassin's Creed Origins this fall, presumably in October, on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. The recent 4chan leak mentioned that this next upcoming game will not release on the Nintendo Switch, which isn't really all that surprising. Either way, E3 2017 looks to be huge this year for Ubisoft, as they probably will reveal Assassin's Creed Origins and Far Cry 5 during their conference. Anyway guys, let me know in the comment section below what excites you the most about this next Assassin's Creed title. Also, thank you for watching. Make sure to smack that like button if you did enjoy or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more news on huge upcoming games like Assassin's Creed Origins, and I'll see you later.